sensible one.
Right.
You know, and that takes a toll on him. And that's another one I would like to know. Do you forgive your mother and your father? Well, I don't speak too much on your daddy right now, but do you at least forgive your mama? Because
Well, but
daddy stayed
again,
on there. Not,
that's a that's a question you gotta ask him. Like Mir. I know I fucked up when y'all was younger, whatever, and I've been trying to make it up ever since. But do you forgive me? Truthfully from your
I
heart.
don't do that because I thought I did the right thing by sending him with his dad. Because I was young. I was only 16, 17 years old. His father was just 20. I had no clue on what I was doing. Then they ended up making me homeless because his mother put me out. I ended up homeless. So I made sure my children was with their father, whether I knew they had a home, a place to lay their heads,
Right.
and everything. I had no clue of what was going on with them there, you know. And I thought I did the right thing, you know. Because I didn't want to see my children out there with no place to go because their mama ain't got no place to go.
Right.
They had a father that was living, had blood, and they sister had his blood, and then he had blood still running through his veins. He wasn't laying horizontal. He was, you know what I mean? So yes, you can go with your father. He has a job.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Y'all can be with your grandmother and them, your father and them. Y'all have a place to live. I thought that they'll be warm. They'll be safe. You know, because at that time, I didn't know where I was going to be because I refused to go back to where I could come out from because I was like, if I end up, I go back to where I came from, that's going backwards to me. I gotta push forward,
right?
Because I was supposed. If I go back to where I came from, they didn't want me there in the first beginning. Why would I go back to a place you knew you wasn't here?
Exactly. I feel you.
I slept in the street, girl. I slept in motherfucking warehouses. Old abandoned car buildings and shit. I refused to go back home. I had that much goddamn pride, but I didn't have it. I had enough pride not to go home, and I didn't. And I stayed in that abandoned building, went to work, everything else.
Right.
You know, and no matter where I was. If I could find my children, I told my children every place I was. If they ever needed to find me, you come right here, here, and here. This is where I am. Even when I was incarcerated, they knew exactly where I was. You know what I mean? I didn't never lie to them about what I did or what I was doing.
Right.
Because I tell them, don't lie to me. So if I don't lie to you, that means you don't lie to me.
Right.
So I was always honest. My kids. Me and Keith was just talking about this today, that how much he's like me. You know, I'd rather take an ass whooping for the truth than take an ass whooping for a lie.
Right. Right.
You know,
and I can definitely dig that.
Listen, I wonder, do they ever, I'm going to ask them, matter of fact. Every time I try to ask them, they try to act weird about it. Like, do y'all forgive me for whatever I did wrong? They don't. They respond. Some of them, I think they just brush it off.
Yeah. Man.
You know, like, man, why are we talking about that? What's wrong? No, nothing. Sometimes you just need to know that you are forgiven for the dumb mistakes you made in life that you thought was right.
Right. But then also, you got to know that you're still alive and that you're going to continue to make mistakes because we're human.
Yeah. And I'm still be mama.
And that's why I say you can't keep carrying guilt and, going every day wondering if you're forgiven.
Yeah. Because that stresses you out too. It puts you in depression. I did this to my children, and do they ever forgive me?
You're forgiven, Mama Leah.
So.
And if you're not forgiven, tell them they need to tell you.
Yeah, because actually, you know what? Even in my days, my kids ain't going for a damn thing. I wasn't an average addict.
Right.
I was a functional addict. After I got myself together and got me a home of my own, I didn't live with nobody. It took me a minute, but I got it together.
Right.
But I still did my thing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a good thing to do, but I did it. you know. And then after I realized, me myself, that made me become like a functional addict, and the worst addicts they say. But
Yeah, because they
my
think, oh
kids,
well, I'm still doing this, I'm still doing that. So, you know,
I look at my kids and I look at the drug dealer kids, and you see them with, listen, you see them electric scooters and all that shit used to come out. Fuck that shit, man. If I'm gonna be giving you my money,
yeah, you brought that.
I bought that shit. Wait a minute, I gotta buy one for my own
Yeah, you brought
first.
that shit.
I done bought your kids scooters and leather clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I gotta get mine too.
Right, right, and that's
Ain't
how
no
you gotta
more
look at it. That's how you gotta look at it. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Fuck that shit.
Man, we going on a journey, y'all. We going on the journey.
You about to
You know
go
what?
out?
You know what boys got. You smoking stuff?
Huh? Man, I don't smoke all that.
You gonna smoke without me stuff?
I
I'll
sure
take
did.
my damn leg. Shit.
I sure did.
Damn. Sorry, I'm about to go downstairs. Wait a minute, what's this? I got a rag in this pocket.
Mama
And
Lee
a
about
rag.
to go smoke.
Come on, we're going inside.
Yeah, we Friday.
I'm taking my surroundings up there. You know, new surroundings. Yeah.
Yeah, we Friday.
New surroundings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is where God put me at. They have peace now. And I noticed since I've been here in this place, I have had peace. I feel so light. I have lost weight.
That's good.
Everything. I noticed once I let go of the stress and the worry of everybody else's problems and everybody else's lives.
Yes, that's what you
so
gotta do.
Lighter.
That's what you gotta do.
I feel so much lighter. Like, you know, of course I still got pains and all that from my lupus and all that, but I don't feel heavy.
I know what you mean.
You know, my shoulders don't feel like they on the back of my damn head and shit. Feeling like my shit. Well, the time felt like my shoulder, it felt like I didn't even have a neck no more. It felt like I felt so heavy. But now I'm chubby. Because, you know, I ain't never been fat.
Because we eating good.
But, you know, shit for 63, bitch is good.
Well, yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. We age well, y'all.
Yes.
But yeah,
when I got makeup on, I look like somebody's old grandmama though.
But since we was touching on what you just said, Mama Leah, that's like my 50th birthday. That's why I let go of what I let go.
Yeah.
That's been holding me from a lot. And I couldn't keep holding that shame and, you know, not being who I really am.
You shouldn't have been ashamed because you didn't do nothing wrong. It was done to you. You were as like you was the victim.
Exactly.
But you held the guilt.
But you go through motions.
You held the guilt of being the victim.
Right.
Now,
you go through motions.
But
you want to know? But you want to know why I went through that? Because as a 12-year-old little girl, I was to blame from everybody I told around me. That's why I moved the way I moved today. Because nobody protected me back then. Nobody had my back to where it's like, look, Star, this is what we about to do. Fuck that. No, everything. Nobody, either I wasn't believed or I was to the blame. So when you got everybody around me that you supposing love you, or you're the child and you're the one that's hurting, you know, you supposed to, as an adult, you're supposed to nurture that. I didn't get that. So when it came to the adults and the closer siblings to me around that time, I just became detached. You know, and that's why it's easy for me to become detached.
Yeah.
I had to protect me.
Right. But then at the end of the day, when you're the victim, we always feel as though it's our fault because people, by us being young, they owe you.
Oh, especially when people made you feel like it was your fault.
Just being hot in the ass and you just had to be somewhere where you had no
business. Oh, yeah, you had to hear all of that. Yeah, I had to hear all of that. But regardless of that, when adults are telling you that,
I told
you know, like, what the
let
fuck
me
is
tell you.
wrong with you? Did you hear what the fuck I just said?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't understand something.
Like, I don't give a fuck how much pussy that motherfucker get. Nigga, he took my motherfucking pussy. What the fuck is you talking about?
Now listen.
My bad.
Mama Lee was. You done lost your mind. Listen.
But it's the truth.
Mom, I didn't get to tell. Look, I remember I was 8 years old. I never told them. I told a couple of people.
I lost respect for a lot of adults for that.
Listen, I was 8. And we lived at 2308 West Diamond, down in North Philly.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in the roughest projects there was in Philadelphia, like next to Chicago. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we used to live next door to this girl named Tanya, and she had an old man named Sidney. They had a little baby by the name of Sidney.
Okay.
Tanya wasn't home. Sidney came next door and asked my mama, can I come watch the baby? Because I always go over there and play with the baby when Tanya and them there.
Right.
Right? So, this man had to be good, like, in his 20s, late 20s, or I can't even say.
That's sad shit.
But I was 8.
Right.
I never forgot this day. I never forgot the red shirt he had on.
There's some things you never will forget.
And he sat me up, he opened up the window, the 8th floor window, and sat me up on that little windowsill. And when he opened the window, I'm looking out the window, looking all over, out the window and stuff. Me not thinking as a child, this motherfucker got a plan. He got all, he got motives.
Mm-hmm.
First time I ever seen a dick in my life.
Wow.
I could never tell because I was already being abused and beat by my mama. So I didn't know if that was going to cause me an ass whooping or what. So I never told.
Right.
I never told what this man did to me. And I carried it. And as I carried it, as I was getting older, I had been raped a couple of more times since then.
And you never told about those either?
Nope, never told. Oh.
I mean, sometimes you don't want to tell because, again, you feel, people don't want to believe you, or you get blamed for it happening, and it's just sad. And then they wonder why rape victims don't like to come forward.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, they don't. Because
they're ashamed.
Yes, you're ashamed, and then it depends on what type of environment, too, because we used to go to a place, and somebody else that you wouldn't expect tried to touch me, and my mom stopped us from going there. Because I told what happened. I would have to be, like, 8 then. That happened, I was 8, too.
Wow.
Yeah, I never told.
So wait.
I just carried it, and then.
I can't say the word, but you was great twice.
Right.
Wow. Why you was 8?
8.
Wow.
And
that's crazy.
When I got older, it was like happening in relationships because I didn't want to have sex, but it was like being forced, to a point that I got to the point that I started when I started like dancing in the club and stuff, I look at guys like, you ain't shit. I just want what I want from you, and you get the fuck away from me.
Right.
And it got to the point that I started looking at men as a lot different.
Right. Because you do.
And myself, how do you forgive yourself? See, that's just do you forget? How do you shit like that stay on your mind? How do you forget and forgive? You got to forgive the person that did this to you. You got to forgive yourself for being in that putting yourself in that situation. And sometimes you don't have to put yourself there; it just happens.
Right. Because I was getting ready to say, it don't matter where you was and what situation. Nobody deserves that to happen to them.
The dog
I
shit
don't give
around
a
here,
fuck
it ain't mine.
what you doing. Where you at? You don't deserve that.